Hey folks, this is Kalani. We all know we're locked into weapon choices when it comes to Legion, but there's a few key pieces of information about artifacts which you'll definitely need to know and may not have come across yet. So let's talk Artifacts 101. To start with, you'll need to be level 100 and have the Legion expansion before you even need to worry about artifacts, so if you're still plodding along, leveling to 100, you've got a few quests left before you're ready to wield such legendary weapons. After all the chaos that the pre-launch event is sure to bring, you'll end up in Dalaran one way or another. Every class will have a quest there to obtain their first artifact and set up their class hall. The order in which you'll do that depends on the class, but you're guided through it with quests so you shouldn't get lost along the way. At one point you'll have to choose which artifact to pursue first. This choice matters quite a bit as you'll be locked out of the other artifacts and more or less the other specs for a little while, so it might be a good idea to pick a DPS artifact even if you want to heal at 110. After you complete your artifact questline, you'll equip the weapon that will be by your side for the whole of Legion, but it's not going to stay at a measly 750 item level. You're going to need to upgrade it. One of the class hall quests shows you where and how to upgrade your artifact, so make sure you remember where your altar is. It's the only place you can play about with your artifact and spend artifact power. So for the Shamans, your class hall will be the heart of Azeroth, and your altar will be the ancient elemental altar overlooking the Maelstrom. Right click and you'll be able to play about with all of your artifacts' talents. Now, it's kind of interesting because you can't move on through these talents without fully unlocking one that you're progressing through. So, to go from Hammer of Storms, you can go to Gathering Storms, but you cannot progress to Wind Strikes or Spirit of the Maelstrom until you spend 3 ranks in Gathering Storms. Similar, if you want to go Gathering of the Maelstrom, you'll need to spend 3 in there if you want to go to Spiritual Healing or Spirit of the Maelstrom. So it's not spend 1, move on, and spend 1 and move on. You do have to fully unlock the talent, it would seem, which costs quite a bit more artifact power than, I personally fully realised at the start anyway, so that's kind of crazy. You need thousands to get to your first special talent instead of maybe 1 or 2, so it's going to be quite a while before we unlock everything, or at least unlock all of the abilities, because you're going to need to unlock every single talent here before you can get your last special talent. So that's kind of crazy. We'll have to see how that goes. But to get your artifact power, you can pretty much do anything. Quite literally anything. I've seen these drop randomly off monsters, I've seen them drop from dungeons, from bosses, I've seen them come from quest rewards. You get 100 every time you complete a storyline in your questing areas, so there's about 3, 4 or 5. I think there's 3 before you get your Pillar of Eternity in Azuna, and then you can go back for 1, 2 or 3 more. So there's quite a lot of those to be had from questing, but then any rare event or any rare out in the world can also drop the items, or any event can actually just give you artifact power anyway. So you're pretty much looking at artifact power from pretty much just playing the game. It will accumulate quite rapidly no matter what you're doing. Now there's one other way to improve your artifact, and that's with these relic slots. Now for the Doomhammer in Shaman, that's obviously enhancement, you have 1 fire, 1 iron, and then you have a locked wind relic slot. I'll show you how to unlock that in just a moment, but the relic slots here take relics, and you can get these relics from, again, quests. They can drop randomly, they can come from bosses, and you can even craft them in professions. So there's going to be quite a few ways to get your hands on these, and they increase the item level of your artifact as well as provide a rank in one of your talents. So my fire artifact here gives me 1 rank in spiritual healing, meaning that the max rank for that is actually 4 instead of 3. My Iron artifact gives me 1 rank to Gathering Storms, and you can see that it's rank 3 of 4. So 1 more would be 4, which would let me move on. But that free rank doesn't count towards the 3 you need to move on. So you do need to fully unlock the 3 basic ranks, and it doesn't really matter what you get from your relic slot. But that means some of these can be incredibly powerful. So if something is paramount to your rotation, for example, maybe it's the damage of Stormstrike. Any of these might affect Stormstrike. If that's where all of our damage comes from, a relic slot which would provide a rank up for anything which affects Stormstrike would be so much more valuable than anything else. The problem is that you might have to change ranks while leveling up, because the item levels increase quite rapidly. So The iron one only increases it by 11 item levels, but the fire one increases it by 35. So even though this is affecting a heal, which isn't really going to affect DPS, you might replace a DPS rank because the item levels are so much higher. So it's going to be interesting how much we actually need to play with this, and you might have to find very specific relics which are the best, potentially, from wherever they come from. If the ones from Professions are random, you might have to look for a bit of RNG, but never mind. I'll show you where to unlock that last relic slot. So this comes from your class hall, and you can research quite a few things in your class hall, but the last one is that relic slot, and it's going to take quite a while to get there, because not only does it cost quite a lot of order resources, all of these take quite a long time to research. So tier 1 is 2 hours, tier 2 is 8 hours, 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, and then the one we're looking for to unlock the last relic slot takes 14 days on its own. So you've got 3 weeks, and you basically got 4 weeks altogether, and that's if you've got enough order resources to do these as the previous one finishes. So 4 weeks before you can get that last relic slot. But with the item level increase and another rank to some of your talents, it's going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to be quite powerful as well, and it does deserve to be a little bit gated, potentially. So the last thing that you can do with your artifact is change its appearance. So appearance is down here. Now I'm not entirely sure how many of them are unlocked yet, but as you can see with some of them it does actually tell you how to unlock it. So we've got the Doom Hammer, and then we can recolor it for the base skin, and then you can change skins. Bear in mind, quite a few skins have been data mined for potential artifacts which aren't in the game right now, but we do have a lot of excess artifact skins, so we may end up with a lot more than this. But you can see you need to recover 4 Pillars of Creation for a recolor, reach Exalted with one of the factions, we can complete the Shaman class hall campaign to get Stormbringer, and then unlock all of your artifact traits, research the full history of your artifacts in your class hall, complete the quest Ancient Power, defeat Gul'dan, complete a challenge mode dungeon using a level 15 keystone, reach Prestige level 13, reach Prestige level 2 and complete the quest The Victor's Spoils, reach Prestige level 15, reach Prestige level 9. 5, sorry, not 15, and then 9. Wondered why that was a little bit backwards, but you can unlock all of these skins, all of these recolors, and happily change your artifact however you want. But maybe you want a different artifact, that's perfectly fine. At 102, you get the quests for your other artifacts. They're not locked behind anything else. It seems as soon as you reach 102, you can go back to your class hall, and the quests are readily available there. We should have the one for the restoration artifact right here. So that one's to pick up Sharazdal, Scepter of the Tides, which will be your restoration artifact. And then the elemental one is with Rhaegar Earth Fury. And it's literally the same thing as before, where you chose which artifact to get. You instead just get the quest to pursue the other artifact. I know some of these are currently a little bugged in that it doesn't trigger the proper scenario and won't take you to the proper place to actually get the artifact, but hopefully, you know, that kind of stuff will be fixed by the time launch comes anyway, and you can pick up any artifact that you've been missing from there on. Bear in mind that artifact power is specific to an artifact. So if you spend all of your artifact power into your enhancement artifact, for example as a shaman, you won't then have any left over for restoration, but you don't have to spend that artifact power. If, as I say, you want to heal at 110, you can save up all of your artifact power and pick up the other artifact. It's not locked behind any artifact power limit, so you don't have to spend any in your first choice if you don't want to. Bear in mind, a few campaign quests, I believe, are locked behind spending artifact power, so you may need to get 1 or 2 ranks to unlock some of your class hall objectives and campaign missions, but that's about it. So you could save everything up and then just blow it all at 110 on your restoration artifact, if that's what you want to do. And that's pretty much it. That is all there is to artifacts. It's really not too complicated, and you'll end up with all of them fully powered up before too long anyways, by the looks of things. One thing I should mention is that those artifact relic slots, I believe, are supposed to replace our weapon drops on bosses and for loot. So you might find some incredibly powerful ones will actually come from raiding. That might be the only thing to affect some people. If they don't want to raid, you might not get the most powerful relic slot, and you might be a few item levels behind, but that's to be expected if you're not raiding, I would suppose. So that's artifacts, artifact power, how to upgrade everything, and when you can get your other artifacts. I believe I covered everything for a 101, but if you have any questions about artifacts, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. If you have any questions or queries about anything else, leave them down there and I will do my best. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.